New year, new episode. On this episode, we'll be coming strong in this 2023, discussing exciting new resources for yourselves to check out. Hey everyone, happy new year, happy 2023 to all of you. I hope that you all had great holidays, great time, and brought in the new year with your loved ones. And you are now joining me, your host, Max Pears. Absolute pleasure to be chatting with you, whether it be morning, evening, or night. I hope that you're all doing well, and thank you very much for taking the time to listen to this podcast. So in this one, we're going to be going through a few different resources and talking about cool things that I found over this time. With it being the new year, there are still some things that I'm looking to investigate in terms of what I'm thinking of changing up in the new year. I haven't really figured it out fully yet, so we're kind of going through this and taking it one step at a time for this. So this is what we'll start with, something a little bit easy, something that can get you all in into the new year and get you back on track with learning, developing, and enhancing all of your own skills, as these videos have helped me grow and develop my own skills as well. But first, let's have a quick word from today's sponsor. Today's sponsor is none other than me. What I've done, everyone, and I hope you're excited for this, is I've actually created a level design kind of store. What I've done in this store is put up different kinds of tips and tricks that you can find there, whether that be my actual ebook itself, to that of level design pamphlets focused on different things such as traversal, stealth, breaking into the industry, as well as different talks that I have done which you cannot find anywhere else other than on this store. So if you are looking to improve on your level design skills and processes, then check out the Level Design Store, which will be down in the description below, where there'll be a link to find this. All you need to do is head over to gumroad.com/level design lobby. I hope you like what you see, and I look forward to hearing your thoughts. Thank you, and now back to the show. And without further ado, let's just go into resource number 1. The first resource comes from that of Creative XP. As you know, I'm a huge fan and friend with the creator of Creative XP, Stuart Scott, who is a lead level designer over at Ubisoft Reflections. We used to work together back on The Division. Really great guy, and I really recommend his channel. This is not the first time I've recommended it, and I will still continue to recommend it, as in this one is his last video of 2022, where he breaks down some of his favorite games that he played in 2022, breaking down to different categories, whether that be best story, best podcast games, best multiplayer, and much, much more. So if you're looking to kind of see what games you may have missed out on, or elements that you're looking for to develop in your own right, then here may be a great place to start itself with this episode as well. As I said, Stu has a ton of industry experience as well, and with that, you'll be able to learn so much from him, and again, a great one to follow, so I do recommend not only just listening to this episode, but giving him a follow as well. Now, let's go into that of number 2. This one's a bit of a throwback. I just recently refound it, and I'm really happy to find it again. But this talk took place back in 2018 or 2019, and this was an event called 4C, which was a conference I actually attended and spoke at myself. And one of the amazing people that I met was Karen, and Karen is the lead architect over at Arcane Studios in the States. Such a friendly person, great sense of humor, and I found her talk, and I didn't get to see all of it back when I was at the conference, just because there's a few talks I wanted to attend. But she talks about the art of the DLC, talking about how her and Arcane worked on the DLC for that of Prey. And breaking, I think it's Prey Mooncrash is the name of the DLC. Talking about what it is that they need to learn from the base game, what they could take from the base game and reuse, and what is the overall experience that they were going after and how it actually differed from the main game. One of the one that's really fascinating from this to me personally is their mini game jam. Now, I've heard loads of studios in talks do this, right, where people go off, they've got a set amount of time to work on something fun and cool. I can't say I've ever had that in my experience thus far, but I love the idea of hearing this, right, where devs get to experiment and have a bit more freedom compared to what we have during the constraints while making a game. Obviously, constraints are not always a bad thing, but being able to have a bit more fun and freedom and being able to cut loose without any consequences, whether that be good or bad, and then them taking this and using it to push forward with their own DLC from this point, which I think was overall great to see. And bless Karen, because I remember her being extremely nervous to give this presentation. It might have been one of her first in terms of a game conference, but she did a phenomenal job. Again, one of the great people that I met during this conference. So a little throwback and flashback for me personally, but one that I know will deliver a great talk for all of you to enjoy. The third resource comes from GDC, which is titled Kindness Coins or Chemistry Casino, a new take on a romantic sexual narrative design. Now, I have not seen all of this yet. It is on my actual view list, as it seems to be quite an interesting one, as it's talking about that of the frameworks behind designing romance and sexual content within games, which we are now seeing more and more of, right? Not only just from a romance point, but much more physical point in games as well. And seeing how they talk about designing it and kind of the structure that comes behind it, and how to make it actually feel that there is weight to not only the choice, but obviously to this narrative paying off in players versus wanting to make the right choice just to get to the sex scene, right? So it's a fascinating one. That's, like I said, on my to-do list. I've only watched a snippet, but I'm very much excited about this because I said we're seeing more of this, and to be tackling more personal subjects with that of love and relationships in narrative, especially in video games, is one that I'm personally interested in, just simply because it's something I would love to tackle. And sadly, in my career so far, I've not had a chance to really broach these subjects. And again, within level design, how much I'm involved with that varies, right, depending on the structure of a company, etc. But again, it is something that I am personally, as I said, interested in, and in something that I think we can all learn from to improve and also take more serious subjects within it. I think what I would like to see, and I think this is mainly focused more on the narrative side, right? But seeing the impact of loss within the games itself, right? I can't remember what game myself and my partner were playing recently, but it was a game where the character had just... God, I wish I remember what the game was. But the character had just lost someone important to them. And I was talking about, I wish you would feel that in the games. That was it. I think it was, we were playing a horror game. It was Alien Isolation. And you'd seen some of your colleagues and that die, right? You're trying to escape, but they die. And you're on to the next objective. And I think what I would have loved to have seen that, now it's not necessarily that of romance, but the impact on, say, the player mechanically, whether that's you find the romance and it maybe makes you jump higher, run faster because you're energized, versus that of loss, how imagine being teary-eyed, how that affects the camera itself with some sort of effects, blurring these elements for it. Now, it might be frustrating for the player in some regards if we overdo it, but again, I would love to see that connection of romance, not just from narrative, but into gameplay as well. So that's something that I would definitely be excited to see more of, and yeah, I'd like to see that expanded upon. But again, something I intend to watch very soon, and I hope that you'll enjoy the watch as well.
At Lover Design Lobby, we believe everybody has a story to tell. Hobbyist or student, Freelancer or veteran, we made it our mission to unite those who share our passion for creating and developing great games. Thanks to our generous Patreon backers, we've been able to do just that. So if you've already pledged your support, thank you. If not, you too can ensure the future of Level Design Lobby, helping us to create even more exciting content, collaborations, interviews, and much more. With awesome perks and rewards, whether you're a seasoned professional or just getting started, you're sure to find something for you. Want to share tips, tricks, and advice with passionate, like-minded developers? Our awesome community Discord has you covered. Fancy practicing your level design, creating strong portfolio content, and having fun? Then try our level design weekends. Or perhaps you want to individually discuss your work, hone your skills, or level up your career? Then consider our one-on-one mentorships. If you share our vision, then go to patreon.com/Level Design Lobby for more information and to pledge your support. Thank you.
Going on to number 4. And this here is Designing Deathloop's first hours at the 11th hour with Arcane Leon. And this here is a great presentation by Dana Nightingale, who I've had the pleasure to speak with a couple of times. I've listened to her on a few different podcasts. She's got a background in level design. Her current role at Arcane is campaign director. I'm sure many of you have seen her stuff. She's near the back end of 2022 and start of it. She was able to talk a lot about Deathloop, and again, really great mind and design knowledge that she's been sharing, which has been fantastic throughout it. And again, lovely person as well, I must admit, from chatting with her, really polite. So anyway, this is onto that of her breaking down what it was like to design the first, mission, shall we say, within Deathloop, which has a great opening tutorialization of the game itself, I thought, especially with the mechanics and the setup that you have behind it, right? And to really take advantage of that. But she's being very honest again with the facts that it's not easy as people believe it is when a lot of people see the finished product. We've mentioned this in the podcast before, that iteration isn't really spoken about that publicly, and it's something just to remember that it's such a huge part of what we as designers do, or well, not just designers, but anyone who works in a creative medium, right? And breaking down, again, what it was like, the user research they went into, mechanics they were waiting on, all these elements that they had to, as we mentioned, wait on, develop further, and actually try, take, and use and push into different elements into their actual level itself. So again, another great talk by a great dev. And if you love Deathloop like I did, or even interested in that of Tutorialize, but also the game dev progress, it's a great one. Develop over last year, 2022. If anyone's been to Develop or to any conferences last year, let me know. I'm looking to try speak again. And I only went to one, I think, last year. I would love to hear from all of you such things as ones that you've enjoyed, ones that you're planning to attend, and whether what you thought was useful and great there that we really appreciated. The 5th one. This one is a shout out to the Design Den and to Ryan, who is the creator of the Design Den. Again, lovely dude. He streams himself creating a Call of Duty Search and Destroy map, which great to see, learn his insights, go through the whole process. I believe he has made the 2D map before this, and then breaks it down and kind of talking about what it is they designed, how they designed it, actually seeing him go through and make that in the space as well, and looking at reference and research, the whole pipeline, which again, he is now the lead LD over at Blizzard on Overwatch 2. Was formerly, I think, lead as well at Massive. Again, very nice guy, great knowledge, and I'm sure many of you know about the Design Den. If not, it's a great community. Join their Discord, it's free in that, with other passionate people as well, and I know there are others who help run the Design Den and Discord as well, which is great to see. So another great one. I think this is there's 3 parts of it. I've only linked to part 1, but you'll be able to find the second and third part rather easy. Now, with that said, that is the wrap up. So we'll go through and give you a reminder of what we covered in this episode. The first one was done by Creative XP, going through his game of the years for 2022. Second one is by Karen from Arcane over in America, discussing the art of DLC and how they made that for Prey. Going on to the third one, which is talk at GDC, breaking down romance and sexual relationships and how they're designed in the narrative. Number 4 was designing Deathloop's first hours. And then the fifth one was that of the level design stream by the design den Ryan, breaking down how he's designing and moving forward with a Call of Duty map there. So thank you all very much. Like I said, leave in the comments that of the events that you've attended, ones that you're excited to see. Would love to know more. Please do like, subscribe, rate, all of that wherever you're listening. Help promote the podcast. I really appreciate it. Thank you all. It's great to be back in 2023. I can't wait to talk to all of you amazing people more within this year. Take care. I'll catch you all next time.